Here's how you can make up to 50K per month with no ad spend, but a lot of groundwork. Hi, my name is Javi. If you don't know who I am, I pretty much help funding companies scale by implementing the same system that allow me to scale my own company up to $2 million a year. I've been doing it for about 3 years now, and this is pretty much what I do. But a lot of our clients or people that want to be our clients don't have the right budget to start spending money on ads. So if this is you right now that you don't have five to $10,000 to invest in yourself to run ads correctly, run this strategy. Now, if you don't know how to do business funding and this is the first time you're hearing about it, watch to the end of the video where I'm gonna cover exactly how you can learn how to add this service. And if you're like a tax person, if you're a credit person, if you're in the insurance industry, so anybody that's in the financial industry or want to get into a new industry, I'll show you at the end of the video exactly how to learn how to fulfill on this product. Okay, so let's jump right into it. If you want to make at least 50 grand in 1 month, you got to service 10 businesses at a minimum 50K approval, charges them at 10% of the funds, right? So very simple math. We get 10 businesses, we get them funded minimum $50,000. 10% of the $50,000 is 5,000, of course, and then 5,000 times 10 equals 50. Pretty simple math, okay? Now there's very accurate data out there that says, and this from like ChatGPT, AI, Google, that 8 out of 10 businesses need capital for funding. I would say even 9, because of all the businesses I've spoken to, there has been very rare occasion of a company saying, hey, I don't need no capital, maybe because they're already well funded, maybe because they're extremely profitable and they don't need extra capital to scale. But ideally, most businesses out there need capital to scale by equipment, hire, it could be so many different things depending on the industry, right? So capital is such a strong offer to give to entrepreneurs or business owners or whatever you want to call it, because we all need capital. I mean, you can throw a rock out there and hit somebody that needs up to $50,000 or 0% to, even if it's an individual, to maybe remodel their house, or whatever it may be. So for me, I got extremely lucky at first because my first 40 businesses actually came from my best friend's father. He was a tax accountant, and he particularly, we got him funded, I think around 47 or $57,000. I forgot the exact same number because it was like 3 years ago. But we got him funded that much, and then he told me, "Hey, Javi, wow, this awesome 0% stuff." He is funny because he didn't even know that there was 0% capital out there. But yeah, we got him funded. He said, okay, awesome. This is cool. By the way, Javi, I have like over 60 different companies that you can pitch this to on the local level, right? It was pretty much his past clients because he'd been doing taxes for like 25 years plus. And he gave me a list of a bunch of different companies that I could go up to and meet these business owners and then pitch them my 0% funding services. And that was actually my first 40 clients, and then we took it online. So I mean, I'm not saying you have somebody like this, but this is kind of where the idea came from. And then I have literally told this to a lot of people that DM me or just want to talk to me. I'm like, hey, how can I make my first couple deals? I have no ad spend. This is exactly what I tell them to do. So this video is for people that literally are hungry, they have time, they want to get into an industry that has a very high potential, and they want to make at least 50K per month. Okay, now like I said, this is very simple, but just because it's simple doesn't mean that it's easy. Okay, so this is going to take a lot of work from you. So if you're somebody who's lazy or doesn't want to make all the money in the world from the comfort of your home, this strategy is not you for you. If you want to do that, then you got to have capital to invest in ads, to invest in funnels, to invest in mentorship. That way you can make a shit ton of money in the comfort of your home. But this video is not for that. Okay, this video is for the people who want to start their funding company, already has a funding company and is struggling to acquire clients because they don't have the right ad spend, they don't have the right funnels, they don't have the right marketing systems. So you could do this without all of that. Okay, so essentially, like I said, the math is simple. We got to fund 10 businesses a month at a minimum 50K, right? And then we went over the almost 8 out of 10 businesses will absolutely need a minimum of 30 to 50K, okay? Now, what are the requirements to get somebody funded, okay? So it's very simple. They need at least a minimum of a 700 plus credit score, an EIN number plus a bank account number. If you're working with businesses, they should have this. At least 3 to 12 months in business. If it's a startup, you can kind of play with it depending on the credit score, but pretty much the business that I want you to go after, none of them are going to be startups, okay? And then there's other types of loans, but I don't want to get too into it. We'll talk about it more at the end. But essentially, the main thing you're looking for is a 700 plus credit score, EIN number, at least 3, 4, or 5 months, 3+ months open, and some revolving personal credit, which we'll talk a little bit further in the video. Okay, with that information, you can get somebody funded. Hell, even 150 grand, even 200 grand, depending on the information and the personal's profile. We have gotten people actually funded like 250K in some scenarios, or somebody had a perfect profile, perfect credit score, and just needed the funds. Okay, so you can actually fund somebody more than 50,000. This is just like the minimum you can get somebody funded in order to hit your 50K, cash in 1 month. All right, so what are the type of businesses that you want to go after? And the secret is just go after local businesses. Okay, these are some here that I listed that really work for us, and I'll give you the ones that we actually funded. But you can go to your, I don't know, as Google or AI or whatever the whatever tool you want to use to find local businesses. It's not that difficult, right? You can literally search, let's say, barbershops, and then Google will give you all the barbershops available in your area. So it's not hard to find these local businesses. Okay, so ideally you want to target barbershops, saloons, nail salons. Okay, so this is just from like hair stuff and beauty stuff, pretty much. Taking care of yourself and all that good stuff. So we actually funded a few of these. Okay, the next one is restaurants, food trucks, and small cafes. So small cafes I haven't really done. Food trucks, yes. One of our close friends wanted to open a food truck, and we pretty much gave him all the capital he needed to make that happen. So food truck, definitely. Auto repairs, tire shops, this is another one that they're always looking for capital because they want to get parts, right? All these businesses that I'm going to mention, they usually need some sort of thing, or some sort of equipment in order to run the business. And auto repair shops and tire shops are definitely one of them. Food trucks is another one, for they could buy all their food and supply, and then they could sell it, and then they can make their money back. So this is a great one. Barber shops, it all depends if they want to open a new one. Salons too, nail techs as well. So this one might be a little bit harder, but it could definitely be possible. And the reason why I know this stuff is because we have clients that literally have done this, okay, before even joining our program, before they even paid us to work with them one-on-one and then implement the marketing systems. They actually did this strategy, and this some of the ideas of some local businesses that they actually got funded. So there's actually evidence that this is possible. Okay, so auto repair shops and tire shops, definitely. Auto repair shop, they need to buy parts for the cars, and usually they use their own money for this. They use cash to buy those parts. So if you give them a 0% credit card, it's awesome for them. They really love this stuff. Okay, gyms, MMA gyms, dance classes. This is like actually one of my favorite clients that we worked with. They're called MMA Masters, one of the biggest gyms here in Miami, and we actually got them funding first, and then they needed help with the marketing, so then we helped them with the marketing. So definitely gyms, MMAs, and dance classes, they need money for equipment, they need money for mats, and they just need capital. Very especially if they're starting out a new gym, especially if they want to upgrade their equipment. If you catch them at the right time, this is perfect, right? Okay, so laundromats and dry cleaners. This one it could be definitely a hit or miss, because you got to find somebody or a business like a dry cleaners or laundromat that some of the equipment is already given out, and then you want to upgrade some equipment, or maybe put some vending machines in the area, or whatever it may be. So this is a way for you to sell them. A good thing to understand is to do a little bit of homework of each of these businesses before you go up to them in person, right? Because you want to know a little bit about their business model and what they actually need. So you can have a list saying, hey, do you have this? Do you have this? Do you have this? Do you have this? And then if they don't, like for example, for the MMA master client that we work with, they didn't have vending machines, right? So it was literally just like a normal storage thing where you put sodas that somebody can just open and grab a bottle of whatever drink they want, and then they had to go to the front desk to charge them. And I'm like, bro, you can just automate this whole thing by just getting an actual vending machine that they could just put the money in and get it themselves. You get me? And then they skip the part of going into the front desk, which is taking away traffic from somebody a new client could potentially walk in. All right. Oh, I had this one duplicated. Sorry. I'm gonna put this one. Convenience stores is really good, and small grocery stores, they're really good, because there's another type of business that need to buy a lot of products, right? A lot of products that they need to first buy, and then they need to sell and then make their money back. So this grocery stores, like small grocery stores and stuff like that, a convenience store definitely helps. Landscaping and lawn care is another one. Roofing is another one. Daycare is another one. HVAC is another one. plumbing is another one. All these are local businesses that we have already funded by doing the strategy that I'm talking about. Okay, now you can find probably another 20 more different types of like pool cleaning businesses, right? Maybe they need capital for new equipment or whatever it may be. There's so many different local businesses depending on your area that you can literally create a list, call them, make an appointment, or and show up, or just literally show up to the local business and talk to the business owners, which we're gonna talk that in a little bit. So these are some of the potential industries that you can go on and just pitch them your 0% product and services. Okay, again, the more you know about each business, the better conversation you're gonna have with the owner, and that will translate that you're just not some random effing guy that just say I'm gonna walk into this business and pitch my product. You get me? If you understand the business model a little bit on what are their needs or what is their equipment they need or what they need to upgrade, this actually gives you more conviction in your offer, and people trust you more because you have just not just basic knowledge. You actually understand their business model and what they're going through. Okay. Again, like I said, this it takes a lot of work, but it's effective. But it's the best way to get to your 50K per month without spending any money on ads. All you're doing is spending your time, which if you're completely broke, all you have is time. So put that time and energy into this, and then you can start making your money. Okay. Now, what we've seen is that 1 out of 5 will usually say yes to the deal. Okay. So you got to at least talk to 5 different businesses, pretty much businesses. You can create a list, right? And then you walk up to those businesses and then you pitch your offer. Okay. What we've seen is usually like a 20% closing rate, which is relatively low, but at least 1 of 5 is some good math to follow. Now, you can either do 10 businesses a day for 5 days straight to get all the clients that you need, or you can do 5 businesses for 10 days, whatever you want to do, depending on the timeline, depending how much time you drive into each mall or whatever it may be. That's another thing. If you go to a mall, how many different businesses can you hit up in one time, right? Literally, there's so many. There's clothing, there's perfumes, there's games, there's food. There's just so many different businesses in one mall that you can just go in and then pitch your idea. And then if they need the capital, they'll talk to you. Okay, which is very important. You got to first ask if they need the capital. So let's go to that next. Now, the sales cycles should be very, very short. It should be anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour. It should be sometimes even 2 or 3 meetings, depending on what you guys covered, depending on the questions they have. Sometimes you want to, after they say the yes, you go there just to get all the information they need. And you can kind of get all the information and then start taking action on the information. And then if usually ask how long it's going to take, depending. So TTV means time to value. How long is it going to take you to get them the results that they wanted? It usually takes between a week to 4 weeks, depending on the individual's profile and what needs to be optimized, which we'll cover that in a little bit. Now, very important. Show up looking your best, right? Don't show up half-assed. Don't show up with your worst type of clothes. Don't show up, looking all messy, looking all raggedy, because the way you're perceived is the way people perceive how you do business, right? And you do not want to fumble this. If you show up to these business owners and you're looking like crap, well, guess what's gonna happen? They're gonna think your services are crap. They're gonna think your business is crap, and they're not gonna take you serious. And this is a mistake that I didn't even know one of our potential clients that we talked to about this. The reason why I'm making this video also because this just happened not too long ago, and I told him to do this strategy, and then he showed up with shorts and a regular ass shirt, and I was like, bro, you gotta look the part. If you're helping business owners offer business funding, you gotta look a little bit more respectful. You get me? And he laughed it off. He's like, you're right. I didn't take it that serious. I should have just showed up a bit more presentable. And that's just pretty much it. You want to at least look the part and not look like you came out from the streets and then you're offering a bunch of money. Then it just looks like a scam. Okay. So just some small note, but I just want you to understand that. Okay. Now, only talk to the business owner. Okay, so you don't want to talk to anybody else because then they're gonna tell you, okay, let me talk to the business owner and see what he says. Okay, so as soon as you walk into the store or the business, be like, hey, is the business owner around? I want to see if my services could help your business grow by giving you guys capital, right? Simple as that. Now, if the person is not there, the business owner or the founder, ask when would they be back or what's their phone number so they could schedule a meeting. Okay, simple as that. If they say yes, as the owner, are they looking for business funding, right? A 0% interest. They're gonna ask, what do you mean 0% interest, X, Y, and Z? right? And you have to explain the process. So you're gonna say, hey, look, here's what we're gonna do. First, we're gonna optimize your credit profile. Then we're gonna make sure your LLC is structured correctly to maximize funding approvals. We're gonna make sure that your NSCS code is not a high risk business, because then that can cap the potential funding of your business. And then we're gonna make sure that your personal credit cards limits are solid to maximize your funding approval, right? So also you want to check how long they've been in business. There's a few little more nuance you want to know about exactly if they could get, if they could have the potential to actually get funded. So there's a few things you want to ask them, but essentially those are the three main things, okay? Then explain the structure of the payment, which is, hey, a $200 to $250 initiation fee. Whatever you charge, that's the fee that I was charging at first. It was just $250, and then 10% the back end. So they can at least know if they're serious or not. So you just ask, hey, $250 that is credited inside the 10%, right? So it's not whatever we get you, the $250 is already credited in there. We just have to charge you $250 just to start, okay? And then if they say yes to that, start the onboarding process, get all the information you need, and then start the process. Now, if they say no, if the entrepreneur that you're talking to, the business owner, say no, ask if they have a friend or a business owner that needs capital to start or scale the business, and that you'll give them 10% of the funding for that referral, right? So this usually average around $500. If you're getting somebody 50K and you charge them 10%, that's 5,000, and then 10% of that 5K will be $500. So you tell them, hey, look, so I'm just giving you the number. You don't have to tell them, hey, I won't give you $500, but you tell them, hey, I'll give you 10% of my payment structure of whatever we charge the client, right? So if you just explain the math to them, and we've seen this actually bring really good referrals, because the person they refer you will actually be a way better lead than the people that you just walk into the business completely cold. They have no idea who you are to even trust you. But at least if they say no, because I'm telling you, like out of 10 people, maybe 2 will say yes. The other 8, they're going to tell you no. But if you can get a referral from them, those people are the people that refer you, you can close 5 out of 10. So the closing rate goes dramatically up if you get a referral. Sometimes you can go even higher on that. This is all relative to how you portray yourself, how you pitch them, and how well they trust you and like you in the conversation, which is very important. That's why if you're really bad at sales and communicating, this strategy kind of falls apart, because if they don't trust you, nobody's gonna do business with you. Okay, so you gotta be very careful with that. You gotta make sure that you're communicating it well. You gotta make sure you're providing the value and demonstrating like how valuable this is in X, Y, and Z. Okay, so now once approved, you go to the business owner and charge them 10%. So once they say yes, you get them approved, you get them funded, you go and to the business, and then you charge them 10%. Depending on the relationship that you build with that individual, you can decide to call them on the phone and charge them on the phone. I personally believe that going into the business owner again and then charging them in person works a lot better, because you don't want to send them an invoice and then you're waiting for them to pay you. So what you do is, hey, you wait till they get all the approvals first. Then once you get all the approvals, you drive back to their business and then you charge them in person. And then again, you ask them if they know any friend or business owner that would like to get funded themselves, and you'll give them 10% of your 10% cut, right? And there's another way, again, like I described, if they give you a referral, it's very powerful, because you just went from speaking to 10, only closing 2, from now speaking to 10 to closing 5, 6, 7, potentially even 8, depending how good the referral is and how high the intent of that individual needs the capital, right? So you ask this question if they close after you get them funded, and you ask this question if they don't close, and they'll tell you yes or no, okay? If referrals are actually, that's how I first did my first 40 deals. It was all referral based, like even though now my friends that didn't tell every single one that, hey, Javi's coming over there to your business, he's gonna pitch you something. But when I started introducing myself, hey, how's it going? I'm a friend of X individual. He sent me to blah blah blah, and I gave him kind of the story, and they were like, oh, okay, yeah, I remember, blah blah blah, because they do business with once a year, because they do taxes. So it was a trustworthy referral. Okay, so you also ask if they have a friend or a business partner or an entrepreneur that also needs funding in order to scale or start or buy equipment, whatever necessary they need for the funds. Okay. Now, once this starts working and you close your first couple deals, right? You have 2 options. Okay. The 2 options is very simple. One is you repeat the process You get KPIs, right? KPIs is key performing indicators. So pretty much, what is your closing rate and pitch time? How long does it take you to pretty much close the deal? What's the length of conversation? And you get KPIs, and then you hire and train. Because even if you and build the whole team around this process, right? Because if you already start making some money off of this, it is gonna suck going out there every day looking for the deals. But if you can hire and train for this, you can literally have a team out there 24/7, you know, pretty much door to door knocking in businesses, right? Asking for if they need capital to scale the business. And then once they do, then you can go into that business and then introduce yourself. Like, you don't let the people just stay there and do everything for you. All you want to do is find people that introduce to your offer, and then they could you can drive up to the store once the deal, it's like, okay, the appointment is set. Then essentially what you're looking is for appointment setters, right? You're looking for people that search for the businesses, go up to the businesses, provide pitch the service, and say yes. Then that's when you come in, have a meeting with the founder, and then you guys could kind of like, talk about the offer. Okay. And then you repeat the process also for building out, or not building out, looking for those business owners. You can either hire and train for that position, or you can use AI to literally generate you a list of businesses on the local level that you can walk up to and then pitch your services. Okay, that's option one. Option two is to do what I do, is start spending a fuck ton of money. I spend almost like, well, on the grand scheme of it, or grand scale of it, it's not a lot. I meet a lot of people that are spending way over than me, but I'm spending about $2,200 to $2,500 a day on ads. It equates usually to like 60 to 70 grand a month on ads. So you can do that. I mean, of course, you're not gonna start at that level. If you decide to work with us, we're probably gonna spend only like $1,000 or $2,000 a month on ads just to get the ball rolling, right? So you don't need a lot. But if you already have the capital and you close a couple deals, and you won't like, Javi, I can't go out there, is a mad world out there, it's exhausting work, and I totally get it. I did that at first, but I only did it up to like a month or two, and then I took my business online, because like I said earlier in the video, you can make it a shit ton of money from the comfort of your home, right? Once you have capital to invest, and you know how to pitch the product, you know how to close the deals and all of that stuff, then yeah, you can just generate leads all day, and they all come to you, which is my favorite way of attracting leads. Instead of me going out there and going, door knocking, business by business, every day I have people booking a call with me in my calendar. Okay, or you can do both. Ideally, if you want, you can do both. You can build a team to do this, and then you can work with us or whatever you want to do to start running ads to your business, so you can not rely on going out there into the world and getting leads. So you can definitely do whichever you want. Okay, so that's after you close your first 10 deals, you all got them funded, you got paid for it, the concept works. Then you can make a decision, either if should I keep doing this, build a team around this, which it's pretty good too. Like, I'm not saying it's gonna be bad. One thing I didn't mention is how much you pay these teams. You want to pay them at least 5 to 10% of the funding that, or the deal that they got you, right? So if somebody actually gives you 10 deals a month, you pay that individual $5,000 because you made, let's say, 50 grand from the deals that they send you, or the deals they set up for you, right? So you pay them 10% of your 10%, kind of like when you do the referral. And as you can see, everybody's just getting 10%. And even if you do that, like if you give 10% to 10 business owners that refer you 10 deals, and you give 10% to an individual that you hire and train to give you 10 deals per month, essentially you're only spending 10 grand to make 40, which is really, really good. Not bad at all. Okay. So you do what you want to do on that side of thing. Okay. Now, well, let me go over this before I go over the last part. If they give you an objection of, but why can't I do this myself? You tell them, because you are going to deal with some objections, and you only get better with the time. There's no way that I could kind of give you every single objection and then how to combat on that. I'll be here for forever explaining every little thing and every little nuance. Essentially, it's just sales, and if you're good at sales, then you're not going to have too much problem with this. But why can I do, if they say, why can't I do this myself? You tell them, well, you don't know what a higher risk NAICS code is. You don't have the right data points. You don't have any relationship banking managers. You can, with our, but you can double or triple the approval. So pretty much with your service, you can double or triple the approvals of whether nobody got it, did it by himself. And then you also know exactly what the banks are looking for. So you can give them 5 reasons of why working with you is way more beneficial of them just trying to do this on their own and trying to figure it out. You can also have a 6th one here. It's like, hey, and 6, You don't have to do crap. I'm saving you, weeks of research and study or headaches that you don't have to deal with. I could just do everything for you, and that way all you gotta do is sit back and get the money in your hands. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Now, if you don't know how to fund deals, like if you don't know how to do business funding, right? What the F do you do? You're like, Javi, this sounds great. I can't wait to get out there and start funding deals and start making some money. If you don't know how to even do this, which I don't even recommend you even pitching it to somebody if you don't know how to do this. At first, you gotta learn the product, of course, then you can sell it and then fulfill on it. But let's go over that real quick. And again, I didn't make this video for me to sell you something. This video was made for people who know business funding but can't spend money yet on ads because whatever circumstances they may be, right? Maybe they're making, maybe 5K per month, right? And then they don't have enough capital to invest in ads, which is totally understand, right? So with us, we usually take, like, the whole thing that I do is take people who are making 10K per month to 100K per month by implementing the same system that allowed me to make around 2.2 to 0.1 or 0.2 million, depending on the year, all through paid advertisement. Okay, so, but I digress. If you don't know how to do business funding as a service, here's the three options that we could give you to help you do this. And again, I didn't make this video for you to buy in this service. I'm just giving you the solution to the problem. It's up to you to take it or not. Okay, so solution number one, you can join our school, Fundings Academy, where we show you pretty much everything that we're doing. So that's a do-it-yourself program, so you can learn everything yourself. It's $99 a month, right? So that's option number one. Join our school, and then you can figure all this stuff by yourself. It's up to you. Whatever you want. It will take you maybe like a month or two, depending how much time and energy you put into to kind of get the ball rolling, right? So that's just, you're gonna get all the information, and not only just for funding. I'm gonna show you how to scale the company in multiple different ways with paid advertisement, with referrals. I'm gonna show you the back end. It's not just learning about funding, it's learning how to actually grow the funding company. So you'll get more than just learning how to fund the deals. Okay, so for $99 a month, like, literally, there's people who sell this same exact program for $10,000 to $20,000, and I'm giving you way more information they have, because usually it's rough for me to say, but at this point, so many people have copied my offer, and they actually join my program just to copy the offer. So, like, and I get this all the time. We get people joining different programs, different mentorships, and they come out of those mentorships saying, this guy completely screwed me over, or whatever it may be. And then they find out they actually learned all the stuff from me, and they were just trying to duplicate what I was doing. But I digress. Let me keep going. The second option is done with you. So we could teach you how to do it. That is going to be a 5K offer. Pretty much, we're going to sit down together for 2 months, and I'm going to teach you everything you need to know in order to get these people approved, all of our systems, all of our data points, all of our sequence. We're going to pretty much give you everything we need, and you can also actually bring me the leads that you funded, and we'll walk it through together, what a process that it takes to get that individual funded. So it's a done with you service that we're actually helping you fund those deals with us. So you don't mess up and make any mistake, and you're literally learning live on how to make how to fulfill on these services. Okay, then option three, it could be, Javi, I don't want to do none of this, I rather delegate it to you, and then we do a 50-50 split. That's also an option. You can just be like, hey, Javi, let me delegate the deals for you. I don't want to learn this stuff. I only want to learn a little bit just so I can sell it, but I don't want to get into it and learn the whole process. So here you go. So those are the three options that you have, right? So either do it yourself, right? So learn everything yourself for $99 a month. You can either learn it for months for 5K for 2 months, and if you want, we can also split the payments 2.5. So you can have 2 months with us that we're teaching you all this stuff. You get me? That's usually around the time frame that you need to learn everything. Or you can delegate completely everything to us, and we'll handle everything, and we do a 50-50 split. Essentially, if we do work with us, we're probably going to get them more than 50 grand, because we want to make more money. Hopefully we could get them, let's say, 80 to 120, and then we do 10%, and we split that between me and you. Okay, so that's the options that you have. Now, one thing I would like to add before we end this video: normally we want to charge 10% of the funds, right? That's normally what we want to do. But if you struggle to do this, it's okay to charge them 5%. So 250 initiation fee and 5%. Because if you're not strong at sales, if you're not strong at communication, or even convicting the value of the offer, then you might struggle to get a sale. So if you lower the price, you lower the like the restriction of them saying no to you. So it's perfectly fine if you want to do your first 5 to 10 deals at 5% of the funding, just so you can get yes, as many yes as possible. That's totally fine. If that does happen, you're still making $25,000 that month, which is still a lot of fucking money, to be honest. Like 50K is a lot of money. 25K is still a lot of money. The average American, it's probably making like 60K a year, which is like what, 5 point something a month. So if you just make 25K in 1 month, you're making half of somebody yearly income in just in 1 month with a couple hours of work a day. Okay, so I just wanted to say that just real quick, because I know a lot of people, when they're pitching the 10%, they don't feel too confident. Maybe they're not that good at sales. Maybe the first time they even talk about this product or whatever it may be, and they're feeling a little bit nervous. They don't convey the value of the offer correctly, and then they fumble the bag. So if that's you and you're a little bit, on the shy side, start with $250 initiation fee and then 5% of the funding. Meaning if you get somebody 50,000, you charge them 2,500. And that way, if you do 10 deals per month, you make your 25K in profit that month. And all of this is profit essentially, because you have no cost of team, no cost to acquire, no marketing costs, no anything. All that $25,000 is going straight into your pocket, unless you start building a team in X, Y, and Z. All right. So I hope you got a tremendous value out of this video. This thing does work. If you're actually absolutely dirt poor right now, or you're not making enough money in your funding company because you don't know how to acquire clients properly to marketing systems, then do this. Go to your local mall, go to your credit list of local businesses around your area, and target these entrepreneurs and these business owners, and give them funding as a service. And I'm telling you, everybody needs capital, especially these days. Like, everybody needs capital. So all you're doing is putting yourself in front of the problem that everybody has, which is, I need more capital to scale. Okay, so again, this is a great offer to provide to many business owners, because 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10, they're all going to need capital, but they don't know if they're going to trust you for you to do that for them. That's why you need to have a good sales skills. You need the best way to communicate the offer as best as possible. That way they could trust you, do business with you, and then they also could give you a referral, which is the key part. The referral part is very important, because even if they say no, they might know somebody that might need it. And then if you do say yes and you get them funded, then you ask for the referral. The likelihood of them giving you somebody after you got them results are extremely high. So make sure that you're doing all those things correctly, so you can start making your first $50,000 in 1 month.